Welcome to Redbeard and the Den of Tools. Howdy ho, guys and gals. It's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, and we're back again. Today we are looking at the Harbor Freight 30-inch 5-drawer mechanics tool cart, specifically the blue one. Yeah, the bear decided to buy himself a early Christmas present and used a coupon and picked up one of these carts in blue. I went with the blue one because, well, let's be honest, the red ones after a while, after a few years, they end up looking a little pinkish. And the black carts just end up looking a little dingy, whereas the blue hopefully will just pick up a nice patina. I wanted to give you a little heads up of what I thought about the tool cart, also about what it's like to try and put one of these things together. It's not nearly the task like you'd see with putting together that workbench where there's 10,000 screws and such, but there is a bit to do, and there's some tricks along the way that I wanted to warn you about. So let's get to it, shall we? So when you first unbox it, you're going to end up with basically two parts here. Your top part, the aka chest part, and your bottom tray. And once you open up the drawers in that top part, you're going to find all the rest of your parts. You're going to find your risers, your handle, your pistons, your casters, your side shelf, and your cross beams, as well as all your nuts and bolts and such. I gotta tell you, those little hydraulic cart / tables, I find them really convenient. So the bottom tray real quick has that lining in the bottom, and mine felt like it was glued in almost, and I was hesitant to pull on it, but it's not, and you're gonna need to peel it back as such so you can install your casters. Don't take it all the way out though, unless it's misaligned. Some of my drawer liners were not aligned properly. So they're going to be doing this 16 times on the bottom to install your 4 casters. Make sure you put 2 of the straight wheels on one side and 2 of the swivel locking wheels on the other so you can control the thing. And then you're going to start installing your risers and your cross beams there. Make sure the spacing on the risers isn't exactly the same. There's a short end and a long end. Read the instructions and you'll figure that out. One thing I do wish is I wish that there was an option when you buy the cart to come with 4 swivels rather than the 2 straight and 2 swivel. In a small shop, having 4 swivels is really convenient. And here you can see, wheeling the base around. That's what it looks like. Those tabs there on those cross beams, those are going to become important when putting the top chest portion on. And here you can see it fully assembled. Sorry, I didn't get any video of the wife and I honestly struggling to get this thing into the top brackets there and lowering it down. It was actually more of a chore than I was expecting. It was a little heavy and the wife hurt her wrist, so helping was kind of a pain, but the reality was the sheet metal it didn't bolt up exactly straight and you really had to wedge it in there. Here's the side. I put the handle and the shelf on one side. One thing to note, those are bolted in. Both of those parts are bolted in with the same bolts that hold the cabinet and the risers and stuff together. So when you're bolting that whole thing together, remember you have to include that. You're not going to be bolting these on later. And if you don't listen to me, you're going to be really sad when you have to go back and take those bolts off to rethread them. And trust me, getting these bolt holes to line up is a pain. So continuing our walk around, I mean, it's a really nice little cart, for the money. I wouldn't want to have to pay the over $200 price tag, but I think I paid $160 for it. Yeah, and here, these are going to become relevant later. These are some of the older tools that I have here. We got a pick hammer, a blacksmith ladle, and snips, a hoe. That weird looking thing in the center is actually a nail puller. We got a couple crimpers down at the bottom. Some lineman's pliers and an old wrench over there. Oh, and in my hand, I think based on the color, I couldn't really see through the patina on it, but I think those might actually be old school channel locks. These are all tools that we recovered from my wife's father's house. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I really liked the lineman's pliers. They have a really nice feel to them. The the pick hammer thing there. I got to get around to doing that at some point. That's gonna be useful. Yeah, these are, a lot of people mistake these for molds, like bullet molds or something. They're crimpers, and there's some more of the blacksmith tools. If you guys remember from my videos of the house, it used to be the blacksmith shop for the Northern Pacific Railroad in Livingston, Montana. And there's my box of miscellaneous sockets. Those are just things that I picked up over the years, little bits here and there. This little bracket here is a real pain. You have it all four corners on the top. So you've got the uprights, you've got the cabinet itself, and then you have this L-shaped bracket that goes inside it to reinforce it. And as you see, you've got 2 bolts on the back, 2 bolts on the side, the 1 bolt there from the piston. It's really narrow in there. Now, the ones coming from the back, you could get a ratchet into. You don't have much movement there. The one on the side, like the bottom one, you actually I guess both on the side, it's too shallow to get a socket head in there. So you're going to be wrenching that by hand, unless you've got a set of ratcheting wrenches. I know some people said they're not a fan of them. Right here, this is a reason why you should be a fan of them. All right, and down here you can see those tabs I was talking about before and how they help you line up the box. But as you can see, they're not perfectly aligned. This is, I'll be honest, the cabinet overall didn't give me the feel of the bigger, higher-end cabinets that Harbor Freight sells. But again, this is a cart, and at the price point, I think I paid $160 for it. It's kind of hard to complain, but as you can see, there are some defects, and it did not want to shut. I actually have to push it, have to hold it with one hand, push the top over with the other to lock it down. Let me know what you think. Is one of these storage carts there, is that in your future? Maybe you're going to put it under the Christmas tree for yourself? Well, you know, it was a tough decision for me to make. They've always been tempting to me. In fact, I was sorely tempted to get one of the bigger full-size carts and stuff because they're all pretty and such. But in the end, I really subscribe to the drawers are where tools go to die theory. And for most tools, I do think that's true. As you can see on the cart behind me, on my rolling tool cart. Now, sadly, that's still in storage back in California. Any of you coming this way from California want to pick that up for me, let me know. But no, the truth is that there are some tools that do seem to, do better in storage. And it's, sockets for one are a big one for me. As well as a lot of the miscellaneous kind of stuff like you saw there in the cart, But, we'll see. I'm sure my use for this cart will change and adapt over time. But before we go, I want some input from you guys. I'm a little hung up as to what to do for my next projects. And I've got a couple different ways to go. I know a bunch of you have been waiting for me to get back on my series of A Brief History of, and I promise I will have one out this coming week. It's just, there's a lot of research that goes into those, make sure I have all the facts straight and everything, so they take some time to produce. But I promise we'll be getting back onto that one. But that said, I've got a couple projects that have been tickling the old furs, if you know what I mean, and I've been itching to do. One of the things I always love doing is restoring tools. I've restored, several power tools and stuff, my old jet table saw. I did a radial arm saw. I've done a scroll saw and a bunch, a lot of the older tools. And I've always had a heck of a time doing it. Just seeing that end result there is just so satisfying. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So there's a slew of tools there you saw on the cart that I could restore. Plus, I have some other power tools that I could restore. Let me show you those. First up is a skill saw that actually a viewer sent me. Unfortunately, UPS treated it like a kickball. I've got a Rockwell router that my wife dropped, broke the plate on. It's an older one. We got a Milwaukee Sawzall that's missing the foot as well as the rubber boot there and a bunch of stuff. And the pro version of a Black & Decker, I know it won't focus, but a Black & Decker impact driver or impact hammer. And also, I've got this, the box there says Fly Navy. It's a Navy Signal Corps or Signalman's box. It's some really nice wood underneath all those layers of paint. And then the other option, Well, I can tell you, the Cubs and I have been binge watching that TV show Forged in Fire, and they desperately want Papa Bear to try smiting some hot iron. So I've been thinking about building a forge. I've got a small foundry that I built a few years back, but I haven't done much with it. But the forging thing, that intrigues me a bit more. And what I'm thinking about is I've got this Weber barbecue that honestly I don't use that much. In fact, believe it or not, the bear here, I got 3 grills. I got a gas grill that we had for the RV, and since we sold the RV, it's just sitting around. I've got the Weber charcoal grill, and I've got one of these multi-grills. It's half gas, half charcoal with a smoker box on the side. And between the 3 of them, I'm not going to get rid of the smoker box. And the gas grill is just, the wife loves it. It's so nice and convenient. And I'm looking at that Weber grill thinking, I bet I could turn that into a heck of a little foundry. So anyway, vote down below. Let me know what you think the next project the bear should dig his claws into. All right, that's all I got for you today. Take care, everybody. And as always, shine on.